So you have no need of this paltry victory over worldly enemies. You deserve the bliss of immortality. Thus saying, Krishna began telling him of the science of Atma and Anatma, the discipline by which one can discriminate between the two.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. So we are starting from, Krishna is talking about, Arjuna is asking Krishna, what is the benefit, of cultivating forbearance? And so Krishna goes on to explain. And so here is because he had used the word dhira. So he is going on to explain what dhi is. So I will stop there. If there even has to, because I think we discussed this, but why Krishna is going to talk about Atma and Anatma, the difference. So that was what we left at, but if anyone has something to share, please go ahead. I think if nothing else, we will continue because Swami is, I think we discussed this anyway. Thank you.
The Atma Jnani is not bound by the results of karma. It is only those who indulge in karma without the awareness of the Atma, their real self, unaffected by what they do or feel or think, that do get bound. Like the person who has learned swimming, the jnani can safely wade into the sea of worldly activity. If you do not know swimming, but yet enter the sea, the waters will swallow you up and death is sure. This explains why Krishna taught Arjuna the key science of Atmajnana. The Atma does not kill, nor does it die. Those who believe that it kills or dies are unaware of its nature. The Atma of Arjuna does not kill. The Atma of Bhishma or Drona does not die. The Atma of Krishna does not prompt. These are just phases of the cause-consequence duality. The Atma cannot be cause or consequence of any karma. It is nirvikraha, nirvikara, incapable of change.
Okay, thank you very much, sister. So Swami is slowly bringing, because we talked about Sthita Prajna, which Swami had already mentioned, who is a jnani. And so Swami is telling the benefit of, continuing to discuss the benefit of cultivating certain qualities in us and what the real benefit is. And Swami is here saying that if we are not knowledgeable enough, we don't know the art of swimming in the samsara sagara, the ocean of existence, we can be swallowed by it. And he's also mentioning the death is sure. And then he goes on to say that the Atma does not die. And so the Anatma dies. And if we stick with the Anatma, we die. The Atman does not die. So he's saying, learn how to be one with the Atman. And I think that's what Swami is talking about. So I will stop here. If anyone has something to share, please go ahead.
Saramana, so last time we talked, like an Atma is permanent, an Atma is not permanent. And so can you explain a little bit more? I don't know, maybe it's a bit with what is Anatma in a sense, like understand that it's not permanent. Is it the body, or how, when we refer to Anatma, what exactly are we talking about?
Brother, one more question in addition to that also. Krishna does not prompt. That part also didn't understand. So that also, what is that meant by? We can see that Atma, Arjuna not killed, and Atma of Bhishma Drona will not die. But what does means by the Krishna does not prompt? That also we'll discuss a little further.
Atma of Krishna. Okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I think I hope I understood your question, Sister Narmada. You asking, you're not clear which is the Atma and which is the Anatma?
No, like what is anatma? Like I understand
Yeah,
atma,
okay.
right?
What is not Atma is Anatma. Because, in Veda, why I say is this is the in Upanishads, there's a concept called neti, which means na iti, not this, not this. So when you look at anything and everything in this world, the question you ask is this Atman? If it's not Atman, that's not Atman. So I think the way I see it is, because if you go to the last sentence, Swami says, Atma is nirvikara, incapable of change. So anything in this world which you see as changing is anatman. Anything, so that means whatever, when we open our senses and look at this world, whatever we perceive, whatever means the thing which we perceive or our perception is actually the atma, anatma, or which, because it's always undergoes change and we are worried about it. So in this world, whatever we externally see is all anatma, or even our thoughts is anatma. I think if you go back to Sandeha Nivarani, Swami says the 24 principles, the 5 koshas, the 5 pranas, the 5 elements, the 5 pranavayus, 5 koshas, and the manas, buddhi, chittam, ahankaram. These are the 24 principles. Swami says all of them are anatma. The mind, buddhi, chittam, ahankaram, and all that this created world is all anatman, because they all undergo change. The Atman, which is the 25th one, which the one which does not change. That's my understanding. And so, see, if we think that we are the 24, any one of those 24 principles as Atman, then we will face death or we will be disappointed because it is subject to change. Whereas if you find out what that thing which is not Atman, that which does not change, and come to realize that is what you are. Because once you go into that plane of existence, you will never face death. Until you go to that plane of existence, you will face death. You will experience death and the sorrow which comes out of it. I think that's my understanding. That's my understanding. So I will just stop here. I will ask others to share their thoughts, please.
Ram, further to Brother Aruna's
Sister, can you speak a little louder?
it doesn't hear.
It's very faint, sister.
What about right now?
Very good, very good.
Oh, okay. The further to Brother Aruno's explanation, the easiest way I understood that a human being consists of 4 components: body, mind, intellect, and Atma. The mind, Brother Aruno explained, then it divides into another 4 components: manam, putti, chittam, ahangaram. So if we leave out the Atma, then body, mind, intellect, these 3 would be considered as non-Atma. Easily, if it is easily someone can understand, our body, mind, intellect, these 3 would be considered as non-Atma.
Okay, it's okay, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share anything?
So,
Sai Ram, brother. Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go
So,
ahead, sir.
it's okay, Sai Ram, brother. Here I like the last point, the nirvikara. So the nirvikara means there's no form. So that means Atma doesn't have life. It's very hard to explain. Because of that, this Atma is absolute. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, brother. Anyone, sister, you were about to say, Anita.
Sairam, is that brother moksha, when you achieve moksha, is that when your atma becomes, your soul becomes free? Can you explain in terms of moksha, finding
Yeah,
heart?
very good, very good. I will ask anyone else want to comment before. I should not be the only one talking. So anyone else wants to comment on this question of Sister Anita? Is moksha the same as coming joining or understand that we are the Atman? That's the question she's asking. So she wants somebody to discuss in those terms. Moksha and realizing that we are the Atman.
So Sairam brother, in my understanding is we are divine sparkle, but we are covered with three things: karma, and karma, and all the what do you call delusion. It doesn't allow us to understand the nature of the Atma. We are divine sparkle because these qualities, never attachment, desire, karma, and these kind of things blocking us to merge back to the where we came from. So once we understand these all, once we come out from that one, we can merge with the Supreme. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else like to comment? Okay, then I will attempt to see others. If somebody has something to say, please share. See, Swami, Sister Swami, Brother Dasan has nicely explained. Basically, the absence of delusion is moksha. Because Swami says moksha means moha kshaya. Moham is delusion. What is this moham is thinking that I am this, I am that, I am this body, I am so and so. That is called delusion. Like, there are people who are deluded. They will think that, there are people who are mentally not challenged, I would say. They may say, I am the Prime Minister. I am so and so. That means they are deluded. They are thinking that they are something which they are not. So that is called moha. And when that is completely removed, moha kshaya, Swami says moksha. Many people think when we die, suddenly, we will become one with God. No, after we die, we don't attain liberation. The liberation has to be attained when we are conscious, when we have the senses. That is why we take the birth. The otherwise, if we think we don't have to, we can attain liberation without being with the body. After death, we may hang somewhere and then we may attain liberation. No, the body is given only because it's an instrument to attain that liberation, and that is to realize that we should not be deluded. Not thinking that we are the body, not thinking that we are the mind. That is why for that only we take birth, because the body becomes an instrument which helps us overcome the delusion, and when we are dead and without the body and the mind, we cannot attain that state. So liberation has to be always attained while alive. And then Swami will say, when you have all your faculties functioning perfectly, you should attain liberation. Not when you are old, when you can't hear, when you can't see. All your faculties are then not at the prime. So it says liberation is to know, realize that we are not the body, we are not the mind. So that is the real moksha. Moha kshaya, like the removal of delusion is moksha. So what it is, Swami will say, thinking that we are an anatman is mohan. Thinking that we are an anything which is an anatman, which we are body or mind or whatever is moham. And thinking that we are the atman is moksha. So it is synonymous. This is my Swami has explained in quite a few places about moksha and identifying ourselves as our real self as Atma. So that's my understanding. It's again all bookish knowledge, but I'll just share what I have heard. Sai Ram. So I hope.
Brother, Sai Ram, I don't think people will like my comment on this one, but I just wanted to ask you that we studied the free will before, right? When the time comes to realize Atma, you won't think that you are an Atma, and you will merge with the God, right? That's a free will. When we studied, you will be practicing on it. When the time realized to come, even you don't think about it, right? That Atma merge with the God.
Mhm.
So you will practice to realize that you are not body, but the time comes, you don't know, without your knowledge only it happens. Am I right or not?
Without your knowledge, you merge with
Yeah,
Atma.
because everything is gone. Mind is not there until nothing is there, right? When you practice and come. So when you are merging, that you don't know. That's what my thinking of. Thank you, Saira.
Because
So
the I is
are you
gone.
suggesting that when you are sleeping every day, you are merged?
I think maybe Auntie Aruna's confusion was when you said if you think you are the Atman, then you've attained moksha. But I think maybe Aruna Auntie was thinking that, oh, how can you think if you don't have the mind? I don't know if that's the question.
Yes, that's the right way of saying. Okay, you
Very,
won't
very
realize.
good.
Because
See,
you're already there.
You have
You're
lost
already
your
there.
you, that
Yeah.
identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You will practice to lose that, right? And when the time comes, you won't realize that you are not. You will just merge. That's my way of understanding on this. Thank you, Saira.
And my understanding is, according to the brother, why you are alive, you can experience it. That
Really?
duality will disappear,
Mm-hmm.
and you will experience the all are one. It could be animals, it could be trees, it could be human being, any beings. So you will start to understand everything one. Sai Ram.
thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
I feel like when you do attain moksha, then you probably should be aware of it, because I think you'll be fully conscious, but maybe you won't be encumbered by the mind.
Yeah, thank you, Kalyani. Very well put. The thing is, because we are all used to using the mind so much, that is why we think, if the mind is gone, I cannot know anything. But the reality is that consciousness, because when I make the statement, I am the Atman, you are right, sister, I am not yet merged. Okay. But the thing is, until that point in time, we will not know. Yes. But the thing is, there's a slight difference. One is awareness, one is to think. So thinking means I am Atman. There are three things which are involved. Okay. So let me ask you the question. Whenever you're going around doing your thing, do you think I am Aruna, I am Aruna, I am Aruna? Do you think like that? You don't think. Why? But when I ask you a question, what will you say?
Yes, my name, I will say. I'm
You
doing
will
it.
say, yes, I am.
Yeah.
But do you think like that all the time, 24/7?
No.
Exactly. So, but there you're not thinking. You're conscious that you are Aruna. You don't even have to tell yourself that you are Aruna. So are you telling that when you are not thinking like that, you are not Aruna?
Yeah.
No, your mind is not troubling you, but you're completely aware of it. When somebody asks you, you will say, I am. Okay. Same way, when you are one with the Atman, you will not keep on telling, I am Atman, I am Atman.
Yes.
Okay. That stating is the mind's role. When you don't say I am Aruna, do you function as Aruna or not?
Yeah.
You function. Same way, when you don't have to tell yourself you are Atman, you are Atman. But you have realized internally within yourself, you are aware. You don't have to keep on telling yourself. So that awareness is what is moksha. So just the way you don't need to have the mind to know that you are Aruna, you don't need to have the mind to know that you are Atma. So that is, it's so natural. It's so natural. But the thing is, you will be aware of that.
Yeah.
Okay. That is why he said, that's why if you're sleeping means your mind is not active. When you're awake, the mind is active. But you don't need the mind to know who you are.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
That is meditation.
Okay, good.
When we practice, that's meditation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But you won't have that's Atma time. You won't. Yes.
You
Yes.
don't need to.
You don't need to. But
I-
yes.
If somebody asks Swami, are you divine? He'll say, yes, I am God.
Yes.
But he doesn't keep on telling, I am God, I am God, I am God. No, he doesn't have to. But he functions from that mode.
The mode
And
is
to
that.
be in that mode, you don't need the mind. You don't need the body. The mind is only needed to remove what is not. Neiti, this is not. If the mind thinks something, you say, you just keep quiet. Don't think about it. So silence the mind. The mind should be used to silence itself. That you can do.
Thank
Okay?
you. Thank you.
Sairam, sister.
Saira.
Okay, this is my understanding, so I just share. Sister Anita, please go ahead.
Saira, I'm a little bit confused. It's very uh, elevating to know, like, to really know that we can, um, rise our Atma, raise our, levels of understanding and merging with God. But all my life, I always thought, like I was told, every birth, your soul, you work and get your soul to a higher level. And it takes a few births for your soul to come to a level to achieve moksha. So you can be alive in this birth and achieve moksha. That's what I'm trying to understand. A little bit confused there.
Good question, sister. This has been amply discussed in the Sandhya Nivarani. Swami is, I don't know if others remember, Swami is saying there are few jnanis who have attained that state in one lifetime. But even they have done work on it in the previous lifetimes. Swami gives certain examples of Jada Bharata. I don't know whether others remember. Jada Bharata, Vamadeva, like the three examples Swami gave. And Swami also says this journey is of many lifetimes. It cannot be achieved in one lifetime. But that does not stop us from trying to make progress in every lifetime. I think this one chapter, I think we can go back and review and revise Sandhya Nivarani, that chapter. But Swami has discussed it. Others can share. I hope I remember correctly. Others can share who have been discussing that. I hope whether I answered your question or not, sister.
Yeah, but like, yeah, you did kind of, but I'm just, we consciously do not know what level we are at, right? And we wouldn't know. I mean, it's during meditation how high you reach the meditative state with God. Only then you know, not in our conscious mind that we know, right?
Yes, sister.
Okay.
Yes. So I think the question is, how will we know the progress? I think that's the question you're asking.
Yeah.
Swami has talked about that also. He says, don't be worried about that. You just follow the path and you will reach when you reach.
Mhm.
It can happen, but the problem, the mind is the one who is asking these questions. When will you
True.
reach? How fast have you gone?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
better than other person? You know,
exactly.
if the mind asks this question, you say, this is none
Then
of your
I
business.
comes into play.
This is
Yeah.
not your business. You are not going to come there. You just keep quiet. You know, that's what we are to tell the mind.
Got it. Got it.
Yes,
Thank
that's
you.
why.
Very
Okay,
good.
Sai Ram, sister. Others, please chime in. You know, very interesting.
Sairam, in the first paragraph, in the very last sentence, it catches my eye. If you do not know swimming, but jet into the sea, the waters will swallow you up, and death is sure. And also the little up, also we know that only the Atmanyanis, the self-knower, they can swim. Like the person who has learned swimming, the jnani can safely wade into the sea of worldly activity. So this one, so the more 99% of us, we don't know how to swim. From the previous sentence, I understand that only the Atmajnani can swim the sea of worldly activity. If that is the case, but we all have entered into the sea without having any knowledge, or the birth is not in our hand. So we will enter into the sea without our knowledge, and so definitely the waters will swallow up, and death is sure, because we don't know how to swim safely from the worldly activity, but we have still entered, without having our knowledge, or because of the parents' will, we have come into the world. And so if we don't know how to swim, then definitely we have to swallow up the water, and that is sure.
It's a statement or a question, sister?
The partially question, partially statement, because so as a human being, maybe up until we get the knowledge of self-realization, Swami is indirectly telling that death is sure. You have to go through several cycles of the life, maybe at the time you realize as a Atmajnani, only at that time you will safely swim across the sea of worldly activity. That's what Swami is telling here.
Yes, yes.
So,
That's my understanding also, sister.
so Sairam brother,
Yes, brother.
Swami explained very well in the song Manasa Bhagare Guru Saranam. So in the worldly ocean, you have all the crocodiles, everything's there. But if you have the deep devotion and hold on to your Guru's feet, he will come as a boat and you can sit on the boat. He will take us to the other side of the samsara. Only thing you need the Namaswarna and the deep devotion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. So, Sister Ananti, there's an option which Swami has given, and Brother Dasan reminding us.
So that they have to chant the Namasmaranam all the time. That's why while we are in the middle of the sea, maybe the boat will be coming and we will be crossing the sea. Maybe even at the moment of swallowing up the water and going down, Swami. Yeah, that's a really good explanation. I thought maybe if we don't know how to swim, if I am not in that state of Atmajnani, so definitely I will go down. But that's a really good explanation. Thank you.
Same thing, Swami, in another bhajan also, which Swami sings. Prema mudita manase kaho Ramanam. Bhava Samutra Sukatha Nava. In the Bhava Samudra is the ocean of existence. Sukatanava, the boat, which is very comfortable, is Ramanama. You know, that's another bhajan Swami sings. So there are many bhajans. If you take the Vedas also, the Durga Suktam is the same thing, same concept is repeated in the Durga Suktam. So in many literature, in the Vedas, Upanishads, Swami's bhajans, this thought is again and again brought. Until you learn to swim, don't worry that you don't have anything. You have floats, boats, just hold on to them and you won't drown. Yes.
So my follow-up question of this one. So we all know, they get into the Atmajnani stage. We have to go through several processes, and it's very, it's like step-by-step education kind of. You have to go through all the way to the postgraduate, or even the post PhD, or some sort of very higher level of scholarly skill. You need to overcome those barriers, but namasmaranam is easily easy way of handling, or even chanting maybe the singing the bhajan or namasmaranam. It's an easy way of doing the sadhana. So even the grade 10 education or grade 12 education, you can simply do the namasmarana and get into the boat easily. If you have sincere prayers, it will make your life much more easier than going through the very high level education.
Yes, sister, and that's why Swami places a lot of importance on Namasmarana, bhajan, all that. Yes, that's my understanding.
Sai Ram, I don't know, this is Saku Auntie.
Yes,
The
auntie.
ninth path of devotion, the ninth path of devotion also you can follow, and one of them can take you.
Yes,
Listening, isn't it?
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Just step-by-step process, or things like that. Yeah, you start
Yes.
somewhere, and yes.
Brother,
Yes.
Again the same question, brother. Kindly
Yes, I have
explain.
not forgotten.
Yes, okay, thank you.
I thought we'll exhaust this topic, sister. I know. Why is he not prodding? That's a question. Krishna says he does not prompt. That's the question. The Atman does not prompt. Anyone else? Anyone who would like to comment on that question?
My understanding is that there may be, it could be different from others. When we study the Ramayana, the Mahabharata, we always, the important, maybe important point in the Mahabharata, we always say Arjuna was hesitant to help his, your parent or grandparent, that is Bhisma, or the Guru, the Drona. So this is the one, if a person thinks that everyone is Atma, then the Arjuna, the Atma of Arjuna doesn't kill, means because no one is killing anyone. No one can kill really the Atma. That's the point is here. The Sister Aruna also already understood that part. Atma of Arjuna doesn't kill. Atma of Bhisma or Drona does not die. The complaint in the Mahabharata, I understood that Krishna prompted many different times in favor of the Pandavas. That's the big complaint. That's why they have put it here. The Atma of Krishna doesn't prompt anything the negatively thought. Here they have brought it as Arjuna doesn't kill Bhishma or Drona doesn't lie and the Krishna doesn't prompt. That sort of understanding I got it, but my understanding could be different from others, because the complaint from Krishna part is he always prompt and he always in favor of Pandavas. That sort of point they have brought it here. Maybe Brother Aruno's explanation, it could be different, but that's what I got it from there. Why they have put the wording of prompting, here.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. I will ask others also to comment. Anything else you have some to add to what Sister Ananthi has said? Why is the Atma of Krishna doesn't prompt? If Krishna prompted, see, Arjuna was killing and Bhishma was dying. But Swami says the Atma of Arjuna doesn't kill, Atma of Bhishma doesn't die. Same way he's saying Krishna may have prompted, the Atma of Krishna does not prompt.
I got
why,
it.
how can it be?
Brother, I got the answer. Because the Krishna is a divine and Atma is via sparkle. So Atma is a witness only. So it won't prompt anything to do differently. Is that is right? Now after discussion, I'm thinking this. Thank you, Sarah. Probably I'm right.
Is the Atma of Krishna different from Atma of Bhishma? Is it different from Atma of Arjuna is the question.
The concept
That's a good
is,
question.
the Atma is the same in each and everyone. That is the concept here, I believe.
So it does not. So it's always witness. Even if we take ourselves. So there's Atman in us. Okay, but our body grows the way it grows. Our mind thinks the way it thinks. Is your Atma doing anything different? You were talking about free will. If you think, no, this is the way I'm going to grow, means will the body grow the way you want? The mind will think, but the mind is inactive. So in our own body actually functions without our knowledge. With our digestion system works, everything in the body functions. The heart is beating, the lungs are functioning without any prompting. So the world actually functions according to some natural laws. World, so which includes our own body. It is just that we are inhabiting that body. So the thing is, in this world, the Atma does not do anything. But the body, somebody cooks, somebody eats. But one body cooks, one body eats. The body grows, body dies. The Atma every Atma is just watching it, because it does not do anything to it. So that is, so the Atma is only one. Yes, I think so. That's my understanding, and that's why it doesn't prompt, doesn't do anything. So when someone knows I am the Atman, nothing happens to that Atman, you will not be worried about anything. You will just do things if you have to do. That's Krishna's.
Thank you.
I know it's all sounds very unachievable, beyond the mind. It's not, but I think Swami wants us to understand, because what happens is once we have this knowledge, when something in this world troubles us, we can look at it objectively and say, I really do not need to be troubled by it. That is why Swami is teaching us this. It is not, because all of us face many situations in life, and the natural reaction is to feel down, feel upset, feel. There may be some superficial reactions, no doubt, but it should not have a deep impression in us as to, this is the end of the world, things like that. So Swami is equipping us with this knowledge, which we can put to use when we feel like Arjuna, like crying, running away, all that. he will say, ask these questions. Who are you? What's happening? Then you act. Then you will act like Arjuna acted in the war, but with a complete different state of mind and different state of existence. So Swami wants us to, try. So that's why he's teaching us all this. So next time when something troubles, we can ask, I'm not the body, why should I worry? Otherwise, things like that's my understanding.
Oh boy.
So,
Uh, Sai Ram, brother, I'm more confused than ever now. Did Krishna prompt or no?
See, Swami said the Atma of Krishna does not prompt. Okay, but the Krishna prompted,
Mm-hmm.
because the Krishna in that incarnation he prompted,
Mm-hmm.
clearly knowing that he is the Atman. He was completely aware of who he is, who his
Mm-hmm.
real self was. But he also realized this is the role I am playing in this
Mm-hmm. Human
situation.
body,
In
human
this
form.
situation,
Mm-hmm.
and so that is why Swami says, when just before the war he was singing songs, and he was telling Arjuna, fight. When Krishna's own army was on the Kaurava side, and they were in front of his eyes, they were dying.
Yeah.
But he said, he didn't say, oh, they are my people, they are dying. He didn't die. Arjuna was upset. His relatives are going to die. Krishna also could have been upset because his army is also on the other side. And he is driving the chariot of someone who is going to kill his own people
Yeah.
who are fighting, because he agreed that they will fight on that side. But he knew this is the role we have to play.
Brother, one more
Yes.
thing here, Atma of Krishna. So Swami differentiated Krishna is different and Atma of Krishna is different. So two things, right?
Yes, because the Krishna, as we see, as a perceive, is a
Person.
separate entity. Okay. But even if you take Krishna, everyone thinks Krishna prompted Arjuna to do this or that. Just in the external manifestation, yes, he did. But he was playing a role, that's all. But the Atman within Krishna also was just a witness. And that is the Atman with which Krishna identified. Okay, so
Could it be
he,
that Krishna was Arjun's consciousness, because it's mythology? Is it possible that Krishna was Arjun's?
no, he was a person. He
He
was an
was
avatar.
person. Mm-hmm.
He was in the human form. But the thing is, see, what Swami is telling us is, in any situation, even when you're functioning, when you're doing something,
Mm-hmm.
never forget the awareness that you are the Atma. When you are functioning like that, whatever the situation, you will be above the fray of the mind, the emotions, everything. They will not affect you. So Swami wants us to be in touch with that state of mind.
Yeah.
So Krishna was also upset, so he jumped from the chariot and he was about to, take his disc and throw it, and Arjuna had to stop him. That's the way the story goes. But he was still under control. That was also role he played. It was not that he was had to, he was overcome by anger. No, he employed anger, but he was untouched by the anger. So,
Yeah.
so I think that is so. In our world also, we also have to live. We will also react. We will also say certain things. But the thing is, it will not our foundation on which we are standing, which is the divinity.
Mm-hmm.
That will not be shaken if we cultivate it. I think that's what Swami is asking us to do.
Yeah.
Because
I understand.
which is what we are missing.
Yes. Yes.
Because,
Because
so
we have
when
to separate ourselves from the soul.
so once that is there,
Mm-hmm.
you will never feel helpless.
Mm-hmm.
You will never see there's no one to help me. There's no one in this world,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because you will know that divinity is actually there. that desperation we will not have.
True.
That's my understanding, sister.
It's the kavach that we wear around us. It's
Yes.
protecting us.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brother Dasan, please go ahead.
Okay, Saram brother. The Swami explained one story. I think most of us know the story about the two birds on the tree. One bird is eating the fruit, other bird is watching. So we are comparing one, the food eating is it's called, what do you call, Atma, not Jiva. Other one is Atma. Atma, the other birds watching is the Atma, that's only a witness. So it's just only witness. So Swami also told, we all go God, but you don't understand, but I am in the conscious of, even though I am with the body, I am not the body consciousness, so I can understand the Atma. That's what you all have to do, the workout for that one, to understand we all Atma. Same Atma everywhere. There's no difference. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Sairam, just a theoretical question. Like if there was somebody who was an Atmajnani in the Yadava army, say there was a person like that and he was in the Yadava army and Krishna told them to fight with the Kauravas. So for that person, their dharma would be to fight with the Kauravas. Is that correct to say that?
Yes. Yeah, they would have just fought.
And they would have been doing the exact right thing that they were supposed to do based on their...
Yes, they could have fought. The thing is, or they could have said, no, Krishna, I am leaving the army. So there were some people who did that also, like Vidura was on the Kaurava side. He said, I'm not going to fight. So, I'm sure there are people who would have, we really don't know how that Jnani at that point in time would have decided what to do. So the classic case is Krishna himself. He said, I will not fight. I will be in the war, but I will not fight. Though he could have, he could have also be a fighter.
Why did Krishna say he would not fight?
That's why did he say? Why did Krishna say that he did not fight? I think there are a couple of reasons. That's what I would say. Because he has asked his own people to be on the other side. He should not fight with them because they are taking his orders. So he should not kill them. I think that's one of the reasons. That may be a main reason also. Okay, because you don't see, as long as he is not doing anything, they can fend for. But he cannot tell you fight on the other side and kill the person. Okay, I think that's my view. Because that's the option he gave Duryodhana and Arjuna. When they asked, so he said, I will give the entire army. I mean, I am fighting on your side. So for all practical purposes, actually Krishna was fighting from the side of Kauravas. He gave his army. On the other side, he will only be a moral support or tactical support. He gave what they call the tactical support he gave. Even there, actually, his tactical support was very minimal. In the sense, he was just a charioteer. He didn't decide. He was not the army general. He was not anything. As Swami says, every day after the war, he will go and give bath to the horses, give them food, and then go to sleep. And the next day come and drive the chariot. That's all he did. Throughout the war, that's all he did. He didn't give any strategy of army formation, nothing he did. So I think that must have been a prime reason for Krishna not taking up arms. Just to show that he is really neutral. If you want to use that word, in the sense that the neutral in the sense he was on the side of dharma, but he was sure that he had the conviction that dharma will win. Okay, and he just did what he should do naturally. Okay, so to that extent, so when I say it's not the word neutral, he was completely objective and knew that this is the right way for me to act. Okay, so to that extent, Krishna, because what as a king, Krishna was put in a bind. When two kings came with a request, he has to deal with both of them. So in that, it was a difficult choice. See, he could have told Duryodhana, no, you go away, I'm going to be on the side of Arjuna, my army will fight here. But because he came asking, he cannot say no and send him away. So he was put in a very difficult situation. So he thought, what can I do? So he came up with this idea that, okay, I will split the whole thing into two and you all choose. Army will come, and he gave the option to Arjuna first. And Arjuna chose, you don't need to fight, you just come and sit with me. That is Arjuna's conviction. He was not going for the army. And of course, then Duryodhana got the army. So those were also Kshatriya dharma, which Krishna had to follow. So given that circumstances, because he ordered his army to fight on the other side, it is not fair for him to fight. So if anyone deserted his army, he would say that's your choice. You can quit your job, that is yours. But as a king, he had to do that. He didn't have a choice. But then I think, so if there were Atmajnanis, if they left, I think that would have been, but there's no record of anyone like that, as far as I understand. Krishna's brother Balarama didn't join the war. He left. He didn't fight. Okay, so
brother, because of this detailed discussion inside, I have one question, brother. Krishna is giving his army to the opposite side, right? What is that signifies on a spiritual point of view?
Means why he gave on the other side?
Yes.
So the thing is, so very good question, sister. I will ask others to others. Yes, Brother Dasan, go ahead.
So during the things, okay, Krishna, Arjuna, he got the blessing of Krishna to be with us, your grace. But he got the army. Even though the fight, before the fight, Lord Krishna said, whoever thinking of me, they all goes to heaven. So the people are not worried about that one. So whoever dying in the war, whoever thinking about me, everyone will merge with me, something. Saira.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to comment on that? Excellent question, Mr. Aruna. What is the spiritual significance of Krishna allowing his army to fight on the Kaurava side?
And you were explaining, Uncle, it kind of made me think that, Krishna gave Arjuna the choice of either himself, God, or the army, which is kind of like the world. So, and and so it kind of shows how, like, even if you have all of the worldly powers and wealth and material, then even if you don't have God, then it's all waste, kind of.
Very good, sister. Very good, Kalyani. Very good. There's nothing more for me to add to that. And when somebody requests, God will give you all the worldly power, but it is their loss if they don't want the Lord. That is the greatest lesson, because the Kaurava army was much more powerful. It had the greatest warriors.
Oh.
Yeah, so that is the spiritual significance, and Krishna proved, even if somebody went to God and asked for a boon, he will give. But if you have not asked for him, it is of no use. It's waste.
That's for the Ravana too. Okay, good. Thank you.
That's why, there are so many lessons embedded in this Mahabharata war. If we only study and understand and study, it teaches us so much. That's wonderful.
Brother, Swami nicely put that. I'm not going back to the same sentence again, but I'm reading that again and again. And that's a very nice sentence. Atma of Krishna does not prompt. So he differentiate Atma and Krishna separate.
Yeah.
So body and the Atma separate. And so Krishna will prompt,
Yeah.
not his Atma will prompt. So
I read that
very nice
again
way.
too. Yeah. It was more
Yes,
clear.
it is very nice.
See, that's why, sometimes it's a very, many times we say, Swami told me to do this, things like that. Swami say, Swami, there are people who come and tell Swami, you only, then Swami, what question Swami usually ask? Nenu cheppana? Did I tell? Swami, in my meditation, you came and told me this. Swami said, is it so? Swami will ask. Swami will say, I did or not. He will ask them. It is for them to find out.
Yeah.
See, sometimes it sounds very nice, to say, Swami prompted me to do this. From this, we know that the Swami within will never prompt. He will just be witness.
Sairam brother, in this one, the second para, the sentence just before the last one, the Atma cannot be the cause or consequence of any karma. We all have, we have already discussed, each and every one of us, we have, Dasan nicely explained, we have two birds, Jivatma and Paramatma. And also, we all have Atma in ourselves. So if Atma is within us, how can we code up with consequence of any karma or any kind of consequences? If we all have Atma, that's for sure, because we are alive. Without having Atma, we cannot alive. So if that is the case, how can we code up with consequence of any karma? Because of our actions and the maybe ignorance of Atma or rejection of Atma within us, because of our own actions and the reactions of another action, we have the consequence of any karma. Or I told you that if Atma within us, it should guide us. Didi, why it failed in that perspective?
Sister, I will just say something and then others can comment. See, you said there's Atma in us.
Yeah.
Okay, that means you think Atma is different from you. The day you think I am the Atman, everything changes. See, that is the whole. See, that is not knowing that we are Atman. We think there's Atma somewhere else. It's like a organ. We have Atma is sitting somewhere. So the problem is, we look at the shadow and think that's what we are. Swami will say, don't think that you are the shadow. You are the Atma. So all spiritual, until then we are supposed to be in tamas, darkness or ignorance or moha. The day we come to know that we are Atman, everything changes. So you're asking guidance, Swami is sitting and guiding us. Realize that you are Atman. But it is not an easy process. There's a process to get to that, and then he gives us the reason. Get to that. That's the guidance. But the thing is, we are busy. He'll say, okay, think of me all the time. But then he will say, Swami, just wait. I have very important things to do. If I don't do, everything is going to break, Then it's okay, I will wait.
So that is the reality. Even if I don't have enough time, I will say, Swami, please pardon me, Swami. I will do my prayers, maybe long prayers in the evening, because I have to look at my notes and ready for the morning meeting and everything. Maybe the Swami would say, okay, I also will wait until you come back.
Anyone else wants? It's yes, very nice.
So, Sairam brother, the karma, whether you like it or not, you have to do the karma. But whenever you're doing any actions, anything bad is not good, the consciousness is always prompt. It's not good. But we don't listen to that. But we listen to the mind. Mind is corrupted mind mean. So we eventually we're going to spoil that too. That's what most of the people think. We don't have time. We have a lot of work, and we have to work with the kids. Even you can have 10 kids. But that's what Swami said, a nice story. In a village, the woman has to go to the well 2-3 kilometers. They have to walk. So one lady, he kept the small child at home alone. She was walking with the 2-3 pots, and she has to walk 3 kilometers. But her concentration, nothing else, the child. And he went to the well, he collected the water, she came back. But until that, her concentration with the child. Same way, whatever we do, if our concentration with God all the time, then we can have even 10 kids, we can do any kind of work, our concentration with the God. That's all to achieve the goal. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Hi, Ram brother.
Yes.
I think for Anandi's thing, Sister Anandi, sorry. When we think, oh, this work is our office work, this is my school work, that's we are separating. And when we do everything, that's we are doing for everything for Swami. And if I say, oh, this is my daughter, this is my house, this is my car, that's also the ego will come. So I think like when I see the difference, like it's not easy. I know very difficult. So whole day morning, this Atma thing is Swami keep on telling me too. Like I say always, whenever I come for your study circle. And I think all these impurities, like when we have this anger, the hatreds, and I think we should remove all this. So when we start to remove all these attachments and stuff, then only we will be able to see the Atman, the oneness in others. So like 2 days ago, we went somewhere and the family went and things didn't go well. So me and my sibling, we were a little disturbed. Then we said that's belong to them. And we don't want to be, see, all the time our consciousness have to be very, say, they are Atmans and that's all they know. So when we are not in that level, the divinity, if we recognize that, okay, we won't be upset. So it took for a while for me to come back. And then I said, okay, I'm giving this back to Swami. So in this way, otherwise we'll be in a low level of consciousness. If we want to go to higher level of consciousness, and if you want to be like Swami, when we say Sairam, do we behave like Swami? No, right? So like, well, it's a constant practice. It's not easy. Actually, I'm just saying like a lip service here, but it's on constant practice. And like you said, like brother, like how many words we don't know, right? So like constantly we had to remind that we are Atman, and whatever we see, like the bird or the dog or everything is the same thing. All this divinity. Swami is the one. And from day to night, I think Swami is the one who's prompting us to do things. And we think, oh, we are the one doing. I think he's the doer and we are just an instrument. I hope that's helpful. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Yes, I think the burden, the heaviness of the discussion, the topic, I hope is not too much. I think as Sister Sharmini said, we have to keep on trying. It's all practice, practice. So many opportunities come our way to practice, remind ourselves. And hopefully we get better slowly. That's what Swami wants us to do, practice. Thank you.
Brother, just a question, we are studying a lot of Atma today, but how you getting closer to Atma, you have to realize, right, while you are practicing your devotion, you will realize that certain things you are coming out of the worldly side of it. That you only, your conscious only will say that, right? Is anything else you will learn from others? No. We can just learn with the things, this is the way, but your own progress, you only will know. Not somebody can say anything about it, right? Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
so Saram brother, we know God's quality. He is a like and dislike, and he has a divine love. So if we know that's what kind of quality he has, so we have to develop that same quality. So the love, so like and dislike, that the main one is the love. When you have the divine love, then we can easily merge. There's no different after that, God and us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Saharam, uncle, I'm just curious what are the Swami's words in Telugu for the third last line? These are just phases of the cause-consequence duality.
Okay, fine. I was just reading that, these questions will come up, but I'll just see 1 second.
Or if it's not that important, we can just.
No, it is important. Why don't we, it's about 411. I will come back with this answer because it takes me, unfortunately, Auntie is not here. And it takes a little more effort for me to read slowly, and I don't want to be reading slowly in front of you all. I will take it away, I will read, and I will come back with. Basically, you want to know what is this cause and consequence, what exactly is the Telugu. Okay, I think I got it. So let me just read it if you don't mind.
Yeah.
If others have the patience. Kana Arjuna ne Atma Champe Krishnani Ivi Kevalamu Kartu pray. Atmaye Karmaku Vishyamukuda. Okay, so basically Swami is saying Atmaye Karmaku Vishayamu Kuda Kadaniyu. Means Nirvikaramaina Atma Chavadaniyu. So basically Swami is saying the same thing. See, it is not even requesting for the action, nor is it not even part of the substance of the action. But I will come back to you with more detail. Swami is not necessarily using the word cause and consequence, but Swami is saying these are all part of the natural flow of things. Okay, but I will come back with the exact meaning because there are a couple of words which I will have to look up the dictionary to come back to you. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
We used to have a live dictionary and Auntie to explain, and I was a bit. So it will take. I will come back to you with the answer. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. If everyone is okay, I wanted to close at 4:15 today because there's a program at the center and I have to be there on time. So if it's okay with everyone, we'll close. and we'll continue next week. And I think we have so much material to digest. I think today very heavy philosophical discussion. So I think we'll continue next week, and I will come back with the translation for this paragraph. Okay, I'll practice it once and come, then I can spend, without spending too much time. Okay, thank you. Sairam, everyone. If there's anything anyone would like to say, I will give a few seconds to see if anyone has something. If not, we'll close.
Thank you, brother. It was a really amazing experience to hear all these things from different people, from our brothers and sisters. Really wonderful. Like it was amazing to hear that. I'm really happy and proud to stay in the study circle to hear those things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother. You were silent. I was wondering,
No, I just go through, like I said, everybody really asking good questions and answers. So I said, it's beautiful to hear that nothing comes from my mind, that questions or anything.
Very nice, brother. Very nice.
Really, thanks.
Thank you. I also enjoyed thoroughly. Because sometimes, even things become clear to us when nice questions are asked, and, we discuss and hearing from others. Very nice.
Thank you.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sairam.
Sairam, thank you.